Hey guys, welcome into another overclocking video. We've got the 6800 on the test bench here, and we are currently mining dual mining ETH TON. So I'm doing a few different settings this time, but this is the setting that I'm going to show you the power draw at the wall for. So we're getting roughly 153 watts at the wall. And yeah, I'll jump into the software side of it and I'll show you what we're getting for that. And I'm also going to show you a few other settings because TON is, or dual mining TON is one of those things where you can choose the efficiency as to how much mega hash you get. So yeah, I'll show you in the software now. Hey, so we're in the software side now, and you can see the hash rate that I'm achieving, 61.93 mega hash on Ethereum and 1.53 gigahash on TON. So a couple of things you probably notice right off the bat is if you watched my Ethereum video for this card, it's actually getting slightly more mega hash from about 61.6 to 61.7 up to 61.9. And the reason for that is just it's slightly less undervolted. So yeah, it just dual mining TON is just, it like releases up a bit of the undervolts because you have to increase the undervolts, so allow the GPU to burn a bit more power in order to achieve this. So it just makes this a little bit higher, but as you can see it does also jump around a little bit, so it just dropped down to 61.3 and then went back up just then. So yeah, it does jump around a little bit, but not too much. The other thing you'll notice, 1.5 gigahash. People are probably thinking, wow, I can get way more gigahash than that. I can get 2.4 gigahash. Yes, so I put the settings for that down here. So these are the other options. You can have 1.76 gigahash. I mean, you can do anything in between as well, but these are the ones that I've tested. You can have 2 gigahash and you can have 2.4. If you look at the efficiency, which I put down here, it obviously gets less and less efficient each time you bump up the core clock, which increases the gigahash that we're getting on TON. But I mean, yeah, up to you. If you pay very minimal for power or something, you might want to go for the full 2.4 gigahash, and your power draw from the wall will be 208 watts. I'll just run you through like what this is. This is probably just looks like a long line of numbers to some people. So this part at the start is just telling you how many gigahash you'll get for these settings. This part here is the core clock, so that is this one here, and then these three numbers here are the VDD, VDDCI, and MVDD, which are these three numbers here. One thing to note is that they don't show up in the exact same order here, so you've got the VDD, VDDCI, and then the MVDD is just skip one down here, the memory clock's in between. Yeah, so that's where those go, and then the 1065 is the memory clock, which is right there. 660/800, those are the SOC settings. So down the bottom here, SOC freak. We had, oh yeah, sorry, I've got the wrong number in there. That's supposed to be 550. Those are all supposed to be 550. So yeah, 550 and then 800. So you can see I've got 550. This one is 795, which, yep, that should be 795. Along with that one. So you can get these all down to 795, or you might just want to leave 800 because it's slightly more stable. But I've taken the numbers for this one from 795, so I'll put that 795 there. Yeah, so this was the most efficient setting. Sorry, I'll open this up again, so if anyone who wants to copy those numbers, was the most efficient setting that I found. So 1300 core clock I use for Ethereum mining anyway, so by not increasing the core clock I have saved the power on that. because every time you increase the core clock, it's going to increase the power draw, and also you have to increase the core voltage, which increases the power draw again. So yeah, if you don't have to increase this, then you use less power, obviously getting less gigahash than you can potentially get by 0.9 gigahash. But I find that this, so 0.0596 gigahash per watt, is huge compared to 0.0245 gigahash per watt down here. So yeah, I mean, up to you. Whatever you wish to do, you can choose any of these settings. They should all be pretty stable. I went for quite stable settings on this because it's dual mining ETH and TON, so dual mining is naturally slightly less stable than regular ETH mining anyway, so try to go for slightly more stable settings. That's why I have 800 in each of these. You can get down to 795, but when you go up on the core clock, it's going to get a little bit less stable. Should still be pretty stable. Generally you can check the stability of your system by checking the load average. It's not always the case, but if you have a LA at like 0. It was at on my previous overclock it was at 0.00 which is like nothing. It was barely doing anything. So yeah, if that's low, you're usually fairly stable. When you boot your rig, if it starts out like the LA goes quite high and then it starts coming down, you're fine, and it'll probably balance out at some point and stay there. If your LA starts fairly high and keeps moving upwards, you're probably about to crash your rig. But yeah, it's not too big of a deal if you crash your rig. Trying to get the settings, you just need to figure out what setting it was. If your silicone lottery isn't quite as good as mine, you might need to increase some of these numbers. So these are all millivolt measurements, as is this last one here, the 800. So those 4 measurements are millivolts, and potentially if you've got very bad silicone lottery, you might not be able to push all the way up to 1800 on the core clock, but you should be able to with a 6800. I don't have a 6800 XT, so I don't quite know what you can do with those. I've heard they're more efficient than the 6800s, but I cannot confirm or deny that because I don't have one. Yeah, that's pretty much all I got for this video. I suppose I could show these numbers here. So for the 6600 non-XT, we had 0.02957 gigahash per watt. For the 6600 XT, we had 0.032 gigahash per watt. And then for the 6700 XT, we had 0.02857 gigahash per watt. Also, you'll note that I used, I believe it was 1800 core clock for all of those. So the same thing that I've done here with the 1800 core clock, you can scale it down and then just scale down the core clock. The only thing that's changed here, sorry, core voltage. The only thing that's changed like between these options is the core clock and the core voltage, and technically I did just open that one up a bit more, allowed 800 for the SoC VDD max just to increase the stability of the rig at higher core clocks. Yeah, so this setting here is extremely efficient, a lot more efficient on dual mining than all the other GPUs that I tested so far, but then I didn't really test them because I don't know how many people are going to want to run 1.5 gigahash when they know they can get 2.4. It's a bit of a trade-off, obviously, but I mean the profitability of Toncoin is probably going to dictate what you want to do. Like, if you think Toncoin's going to be worth heaps in the future, or if it's currently worth heaps, then you probably want to go for the 2.4 gigahash, even though it's inefficient. But if it like the profitability starts going down, or even if it became unprofitable for most people, and you had like low power cost and you know how to do this underclocking and stuff, so you might be able to stay profitable longer than everyone else if you just adjust your overclock settings so that you're getting more gigahash per watt used. So yeah, there's a lot of advantages to knowing how to do this and being able to switch over to these other settings if you want to or need to. So yeah, that's pretty much all I got for this one now. Yeah, leave a like, comment, and subscribe if this helped you in any way, and have a great day. See ya.